Just after the outbreak of war in 1914, the man who was later dubbed the father of the heavy bomber, Frederick Handley Page, was asked by the British Admiralty to design a twin-engine bomber that could carry a 600-pound payload. A year later, he delivered the first prototypes of the Type O-100. It was, at the time, the largest aeroplane that had been built in the United Kingdom, with a wingspan of 100 feet. 46 of these aircraft would be built before they were superseded by the O-400 in early 1918. These new bombers had more powerful engines, increasing their speed from 76 to 97 miles per hour, and an increased bomb load of 1,750 pounds. Their crews consisted of a pilot, an observer, and 2 to 3 gunners armed with 3 to 6 Lewis machine guns. A total of 663 of the O-400s would be built, including 107 built under license in the United States, and would be deployed on multiple squadrons across several fronts, most notably at Flanders and the Dardanelles. At the end of the war, a number of surplus O-400s were sold off and converted for civilian use, including 9 to the newly founded Handley Page Transport Limited, who operated flights out of Cricklewood Aerodrome in London to Le Bourget Airport, Paris. Incidentally, these were the world's first flights that offered in-flight meals. At midday on the 14th of December 1920, a Handley & Page O-400, registration GEA-MA, took off from Cricklewood in heavy mist on a scheduled flight. On board were 6 passengers and 2 pilots, with mail and freight bound for Paris. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft was observed struggling to climb before clipping the top of a large oak tree and crashed into the garden of No. 6 Basing Hill in the suburb of Golders Green, about half a mile from the end of the runway. Though the house at No. 6 Basing Hill needed to be rebuilt after the impact, there were thankfully no casualties on the ground. Of those on board, 4 of the passengers managed to quickly escape the crashed aircraft with only minor injuries. However, the remaining passengers and crew were trapped in the mangled wreck as a fire took hold. Despite the quick response of local residents and the Hendon Fire Brigade, there was nothing they could do to help those still trapped inside, and according to their testimonies, their deaths did not come quickly. An inquest into the 4 deaths was held at Heron 2 days later. Testimonies were taken from survivors, first responders, and a pilot who had flown the plane a day before the crash. Engine trouble was initially believed to be the cause of the tragedy, but was subsequently ruled out as accounts from the survivors reported that the engines were working fine as they took off. Ultimately, the inquest was unable to come to an explanation for the crash. To date, the cause of Britain's first fatal crash involving a civilian passenger plane remains unsolved.